My name is Ethan, and I always thought my life was simple, steady, and safe. I worked long hours at a small tech company, saved every bit I could, and dreamed of a future with Lily. I believed we were building something real together, something strong enough to last forever. That night, when I walked into her apartment, I felt something strange in the air. Lily sat on the couch, hands shaking, eyes cold. I asked what's wrong. She didn't answer for a moment. Then she whispered, "Ethan, I can't do this anymore. I want a better life from you." I stared at her, trying to understand what she meant. Better life? With who? I asked. She looked away and said, "Ryan." The name hit me like a punch. I said, "Ryan? Your boss?" She nodded slowly. "He can give me everything you can't," she added, her voice shaking slightly. I felt something break inside me. "Lily, we planned a future. You said you loved me." She shook her head and whispered, "Love isn't enough anymore." I stepped closer and asked, "So you're leaving me?" She said yes. "Ryan wants me with him. I've already made my choice, Ethan, today." My throat tightened. "Why now? Why like this?" She sighed and said, "Because I'm tired of waiting for you to become someone bigger." Her words crushed me. I said, "I'm doing my best." She replied, "Your best isn't enough for me anymore." I felt the room spin around me painfully. I tried to reach for her hand. "Lily, don't do this. We can fix things." She pulled back. "I don't want to fix anything," she said. "I want a life that moves fast." I whispered, "So I'm just not enough?" She didn't deny it. That silence hurt more than words. I stepped back and asked, "Is he really worth everything we had?" Lily wiped a tear and said, "He gives me chances you never could." I felt my chest tighten. "So that's it? You're trading me for money?" She whispered, "I'm choosing a future." Her voice sounded final, closing everything. I tried one last time. "Lily, look at me. I love you." She looked away. "I loved you too," she said softly, "but love can't feed dreams." My heart cracked. "So you'd rather chase his world?" She answered yes. "I am sorry, Ethan." Hearing my name hurt more than anything today. I stood there, unable to breathe. "When did you start seeing him?" I asked. She hesitated before saying, "A few months ago." My chest felt hollow. "Months?" She nodded. "I didn't want to hurt you." I laughed bitterly. "You think this doesn't hurt?" She whispered. I didn't know how else. I felt tears in my eyes, but I forced them down. "After everything, you didn't trust me enough to talk." She shook her head. "It wouldn't change anything." I said, "It would have meant something." She whispered, "I'm sorry." I stepped away from her, feeling the floor disappear under my feet. I whispered, "I can't lose you like this." She replied, "You already did." Her words sliced through me. I asked, "Is he waiting for you now?" She nodded. My chest tightened again. "Then go," I said quietly. She hesitated, then walked past me. I felt something inside me die slowly. As she reached the door, I said, "Lily, was I really that easy to leave?" She paused but didn't turn. "I just wanted more," she said. Those words burned. I whispered, "I would have given you everything." She said, "I know, but he gave it first." Then she walked away forever. When the door shut, I felt my legs weaken. I grabbed the wall to keep from falling. My voice cracked as I whispered, "Why wasn't I enough?" The apartment felt empty, colder than before. I stepped outside, unable to stay in that space any longer. Everything inside me felt shattered. As I walked in the night, the air felt heavy. Jake called me, but I couldn't speak. My mind kept replaying her words. "He gives me chances you never could." I felt something change in me, something dark and cold. That night, a part of me stopped believing in love. I sat on my bed the next morning, staring at the ceiling while Jake's voice came through the phone. "Bro, you need to breathe," he said. I rubbed my eyes and whispered, "How did you move on so fast? How was I that easy to replace?" Jake sighed. "You didn't get replaced. You dodged a bullet." "I don't feel like I dodged anything," I said. "I feel like trash she threw out." Jake replied, "Lily isn't who you thought she was." I clenched my jaw and muttered, I gave her everything I had." He said, "And she still walked away. That says more about her than you." I didn't answer. My phone buzzed again, a notification. I clicked it without thinking, and my stomach dropped. Lily had posted a picture with Ryan. Her caption read, "New beginnings." She looked happy. Too happy. I whispered. She really moved on. Jake asked what happened. I said, she posted him. Already. He cursed softly. Don't look at that. Block her. I shook my head, even though he couldn't see me. I need to know why she chose him. I need closure. You're not getting closure from someone like her, Jake said. She'll only hurt you again. But my chest was burning. I need to ask her, Jake. Just once. He groaned. Ethan, don't. I hung up before he could finish. I drove to Lily's apartment, my hands shaking on the wheel. When she opened the door, she looked annoyed. Ethan, why are you here? I swallowed hard. I just need to talk. She crossed her arms. About what? We already ended things. I said, why him? Why so fast? She rolled her eyes. Because he's ambitious. He actually wants more from life. Her tone cut into me. You're comfortable staying small. I felt the words pierce me. Small? I work. I save. I try. She interrupted. You try, but you don't rise. I don't want a life that crawls. My voice cracked. So everything we built means nothing. She said, it meant something then. Not now. I tried to breathe, but my chest felt tight. You could have talked to me. She shrugged. What for? You wouldn't change. I whispered, you don't know that. She smirked. Dull. You dreamed too safe. My fist curled. I loved you. She shrugged again. Love is cute, but it doesn't pay for anything. Before I could respond, a voice behind her chuckled. Ryan stepped into view, adjusting his watch. Dude, you're still here? He said. His grin made my stomach twist. Man, learn to move on. She already did. I stared at him. You ruined us. He laughed. She chose me because I offer a better future. That's not my fault. Lily added, stop blaming him. This is about you not being enough. Those words shattered whatever was left inside me. I whispered, I just wanted the truth. Ryan put an arm around her and smirked. Truth is simple. She upgraded. Lily didn't deny it. She didn't even flinch. She just looked at me as if I was a stranger on her doorstep. I stepped back slowly. Thank you, I whispered. She frowned. For what? I said, for showing me who you really are. Ryan laughed again. Good. Now leave. Lily shut the door without another word. I stood there for a moment, staring at the wood in front of me, feeling my legs tremble. I whispered never again. I'm never begging again. Then I walked away, shaking with shame, anger, and something darker growing inside me. As I reached my car, my phone buzzed with Jay calling again, but I couldn't bring myself to answer. I leaned against the door and whispered, I can't believe I begged her. My hands shook as the night air hit my face. This pain, I'll turn it into something else, I said to myself. I won't stay the man they mocked. I woke up with a heavy head, expecting another day of trying not to think about Lily, but my phone buzzed nonstop. Jake messaged, Bro, check the news right now. I groaned and called him back. What happened? He laughed in disbelief. Dude, Ryan's company just collapsed. Full fraud scandal. It's everywhere. I sat up fast. Wait, what? That can't be real. He replied, Search it. You'll see. My hand shook as I opened the link he sent. Headlines screamed, Golden investments exposed, fraud investigation underway, CEO assets frozen. I whispered, no way. Jake said, karma works fast. I scrolled through the chaos. Videos showed reporters standing outside Ryan's office while officers carried out boxes. Comments flooded every post. People cursed him, mocked him, celebrated his downfall. I felt my heart race. This happened overnight? I asked. Jake answered, Yep. Everything gone. Cars, house, cards locked. I didn't know how to react. Part of me felt numb. Part of me felt something close to relief. I whispered, Lily. Jake said, Yeah, I checked. She wiped everything. All her pictures with him are gone. I checked her profile myself. Every photo with Ryan had vanished. Yesterday, she was glowing in his arms. Today, she was a ghost. Jake chuckled. Guess her better future lasted 24 hours. I stayed quiet. He noticed. You're not happy? I sighed. I don't know. I thought I would be, but it just feels strange. He said, You're allowed to feel weird. You loved her. I rubbed my forehead. I didn't want this for her. I just wanted answers. He replied, She made her choice, man. I stared at the news again. Reporters kept repeating the same story. Investors lost millions. Employees were furious. Lawyers surrounded Ryan as he pushed through the crowd. Someone shouted, "Where's the money, Ryan?" Another yelled, "You ruined my life." My stomach twisted. This wasn't just karma. This was destruction. Jake asked softly, "You okay?" I said, "I don't know. Watching him fall, it feels unreal." He said, "After what he did, he deserves it." I replied, "Maybe, but this is huge." Jake sighed. "Big or not, it's done. Focus on you now." His words lingered. Focus on me. I had spent days drowning in heartbreak while Lily celebrated her new life. Now everything flipped overnight, and I didn't know what to do with the sudden silence in my chest. I whispered, "It's crazy how fast everything can change." Jake said, "Life turns tables. Always has." I nodded even though he couldn't see. "Yesterday, she said I wasn't enough. Today she's hiding." He said, "That's because she knows she messed up." I stared at the blank space on her profile where their photos used to be. "Do you think she'll come back?" Jake replied, "Maybe, but don't let her. You already saw what she can do." I swallowed hard. "I know, but it still hurts." He said, "Healing will take time, but this is your chance to move forward." I whispered, "I want to." "I really do." He replied, "One step at a time, bro." After we hung up, I sat alone, watching the news repeat the same footage. Ryan shouting at reporters, officers blocking cameras, Lily gone from every screen. I felt a strange mix of satisfaction and sorrow, like my heart didn't know which direction to lean. I finally closed my phone and whispered, "Move forward, Ethan. Just move forward." But deep inside, the pain still felt raw. I breathed in slowly, telling myself healing wasn't a race, that every step I took would build a future stronger than my past. She showed up at my apartment door just after sunset, knocking like she was afraid the sound might break her. When I opened it, I froze. Lily stood there with pale cheeks, smeared mascara, and trembling hands. I whispered, "Why are you here?" She choked, "Ethan, please let me in." I stepped aside, and she walked in slowly, hugging herself like the room was cold. "I'm sorry," she said. "I'm so sorry." I didn't speak. I didn't trust my voice. She looked around at my small place and whispered, "He left me, Ethan. Ryan left me with nothing." I asked what happened. She wiped her eyes and said, "He told me everything would be fine, but when the news broke, he blamed me. He said I was dead weight. He kicked me out the same night." I felt something twist inside me, but I kept my face still. She stepped closer and whispered, "I didn't know where else to go." I swallowed hard. "Why come to me?" She covered her face. "Because you're the only person who ever cared." I laughed softly. "You didn't think that when you called me small." She winced like the words hit her. She reached for my hands, clutching them like she was drowning. "Please, Ethan. I messed up. I didn't see what I had. I thought Ryan could give me a life I wanted, but he just used me. I was stupid." Her voice cracked. "Take me back. Please." I pulled my hands away slowly. "Why him?" I asked. "Why choose him over me?" She opened her mouth, then closed it. No answer, just shaking. I whispered, "Tell me." She finally muttered, "He felt exciting, faster, warmer. I thought he could take me somewhere higher. I thought you never would." My chest tightened, but I stayed quiet. She stepped closer again. "I know I hurt you. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I can be better now. I can change." I shook my head. "You only came back because he fell." She whispered, "I came back because I lost everything, including myself." I looked at her face, streaked with black tears. She whispered, "Do you still love me?" I hated the question. I hated that part of me still answered inside. She reached for my hand again, voice breaking. "Say something, Ethan. Please don't just stand there." I stepped back from her touch. "I don't know what I feel anymore," I finally said. The room went silent. She looked at me like her whole world shattered again. "So that's it?" she whispered. I didn't answer. I couldn't. She wiped her face and said, "I'm sorry for everything." She walked to the door slowly. "If you ever want to talk, I'll be around," she murmured. I didn't respond. I watched her leave, watched her shoulders tremble as she stepped into the hallway. When the door closed, I felt my heart ache, but something inside me hardened like stone. I sat on the edge of my bed after she left, trying to steady my breathing. Jake called me as if he sensed something was wrong. "You good?" he asked. I let out a shaky laugh. She came back. He went silent. "No way. What did she want?" I rubbed my face and said, "Everything. She wants me again." He cursed. "Man, don't fall for that. She ran to you because she had nowhere else." I whispered, "I know." Jake asked, "Do you still want her?" The question stung. "Part of me does," I admitted, "but the part that remembers her words, it's louder now." Jake sighed. "Good. Hold on to that. Don't let her drag you down again." I nodded slowly. "I won't." Something changed today. He said, "Proud of you, man." When I hung up, I stared at the door Lily had walked through and whispered, "This time, I choose myself." It felt strangely right. I never thought I'd feel this strange kind of energy again, like my own life wasn't entirely wasted. "Ethan, can I see the revised report by tomorrow?" Mr. Harris's voice pulled me from my thoughts. "Absolutely," I said, trying to sound confident. My hands were still shaking a little, but I didn't let him see it. "You've been putting a lot of hours lately." "Good work," he added. I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. Praise used to feel ordinary, but now it felt like oxygen. Later, I found myself at the office kitchen, making a cup of coffee. "Hey, you're Ethan, right?" a cheerful voice said. I turned, startled. "Yeah," I said cautiously. "I'm Mia. Just joined this week." "Don't worry, I won't bite," she joked, holding out her hand. Her smile was easy, unforced. I shook it, feeling a little lighter than I had in months. "I'm Ethan. Nice to meet you," I muttered. "So, you're the guy who everyone says works crazy hours," she teased. "You must be insane or really dedicated." "I like to think dedicated," I said, trying to smile. She laughed, and it wasn't mocking. It was genuine. "Well, you definitely seem like someone worth knowing. I hope we get to work on something together." Over the next few weeks, I bury myself in work. Late nights at the office became normal. "Ethan, you've been handling the Daniels project like a pro," Mr. Harris said one evening, tapping a folder on my desk. "I'm impressed." "Thanks," I said, feeling a flicker of pride. It wasn't just about proving Lily wrong anymore. It was about proving to myself that I could actually matter somewhere. Mia would often linger by my desk. "You're too serious," she said one night, nudging my shoulder. "Take a break for 5 minutes, come on." "I can't. Too much to do," I said, though I felt guilty as I watched her frown. "Then at least talk to me," she insisted. We ended up talking about everything and nothing. Movies, childhood memories, even dreams we barely admitted out loud. I realized I was laughing again, quietly at first, then more easily. "You're a good listener," she said once. I almost choked. "You actually care about what people say." "I guess I try," I admitted. Mia's presence was like sunlight in a room I'd forgotten how to open. But even as I started feeling lighter, I caught myself thinking about Lily. The wound was still there, raw and stubborn. "You're still thinking about her," Mia said one evening, noticing the shadow in my eyes. "Yeah," I admitted. "It's not gone." "Then it's okay. It'll take time," she said softly. And somehow, that was enough for now. For the first time in months, I felt like I was building my own life. Messy, imperfect, but mine. I first noticed Lily standing outside the office on a rainy Thursday. "Ethan, wait," she called as I walked out. I froze, gripping my umbrella tighter. "Lily, what are you doing here?" I asked. I need to talk." "Please," she pleaded, her eyes glossy. "I don't think we have anything to talk about," I said, my voice firmer than I felt. "Please, just 5 minutes." "I made a mistake," she begged, shivering in the cold. I hesitated. Something in her desperation pulled at me, but I knew better. Later that week, Ryan appeared out of nowhere, slamming his hand against the wall near my desk. "You think you could just take her away from me?" he shouted. "I didn't do anything," I said, stepping back. "Don't lie. You turned her against me," he accused, face red. "Ryan, calm down. You need to think," I said, try to reason with him, but he wasn't listening. Lily barged in, tears streaming. "Ryan, stop. Please. I made a huge mistake." "You made a mistake? I trusted you." "I lost everything," he screamed, pacing. "Ethan, he's blaming me for everything," Lily sobbed, grabbing my hand for support. "I can't fix this for you, Lily," I said quietly. I didn't pull my hand away, but I didn't encourage her either. You never had to do anything, I muttered under my breath. They continued fighting, voices rising, accusations flying. I stayed silent, watching the chaos unfold. Part of me ached for Lily. Part of me recoiled at their toxicity. You're both ridiculous, I finally said, but my voice barely carried over their shouting. They barely heard me, but I didn't try to repeat myself. That night, when I got home, Mia noticed my tension immediately. You look like you've been through a war, she said softly, placing a hand on my shoulder. You have no idea, I muttered, running my fingers through my hair. Do you want to talk? She asked gently. I don't even know where to start, I admitted. Start with your truth, she said. Say what you really feel. Not for them, for you. I sat there in silence for a long moment, thinking. She was right. I had stayed quiet for months, letting my pain fester and letting them control my thoughts. I'm done being part of their chaos, I finally said. Mia smiled, relieved. Good. That's all you need to say right now. You don't need revenge. You just need closure. I guess I always thought closure meant one last argument, one last fight, I said, shaking my head. But maybe it's just letting go. Exactly, Mia said. You don't owe them your energy anymore. I finally felt a small weight lift off my shoulders. For the first time in weeks, I could breathe. I realized I didn't have to hate them. I didn't have to beg, and I didn't have to fight. I just had to reclaim my life. Lying in bed that night, I repeated it to myself over and over. Closure, not revenge. My past was trying to pull me back, but this time I refused. I saw her before she saw me, sitting on the park bench under the street lamp. Lily, pale, trembling, mascara running down her cheeks. I took a deep breath, steadying the storm inside me. Ethan, she whispered, voice breaking. I need to see you. I didn't sit. I stayed standing, arms crossed. You've already said enough, I said slowly. I know, but please, just listen, she begged, reaching for my hand. I pulled back. Not this time. Her eyes widened, and I felt her pain, but I felt my own resolve harder. Lily, do you have any idea what you did to me? I asked, my voice low but intense. Do you understand how it felt to see you walk away for someone else? I was stupid. I thought. She choked on her words. You thought what? I snapped, unable to keep my emotions bottled any longer. That I wouldn't matter? That I'd just sit there and let you take everything and walk away? I didn't mean to hurt you, Ethan. I swear I didn't, she cried. You didn't mean to hurt me? I laughed bitterly. Every night, I replayed your words, your smile while you lied to me. Every plan I made, every hope I had shattered. I know. I regret it. I can't even describe how sorry I am, she sobbed, clutching her knees. I spent months picking myself up, I said, voice shaking but firm. I worked late nights, pushed harder, became someone I could be proud of. And you chose a man who went bankrupt the day after you left. You didn't love me. You wanted a life you didn't earn. Her hands trembled, and she tried to reach out again. Ethan, please just forgive me once. Please. I shook my head. I can't. You left me when I needed you most. You walked away from everything we built. You don't get to come back and expect it all to be okay. But I love you. I really do, she cried, her voice desperate. Love doesn't just appear when it's convenient, Lily. It doesn't come back after you've abandoned someone, I said, feeling my chest tighten, but my heart lighter in a strange way. I loved you with everything I had. But love isn't enough for me anymore if it comes with betrayal. Tears streamed down her face, her whole body trembling. Please, Ethan, one chance. Just one chance. I took a step back, my own hands unclenching. This isn't about punishment. This is about choice. And my choice is to walk away. She slumped onto the bench, her body folding in on itself as she sobbed. I watched her, but I didn't move closer. I didn't feel pity. I felt control. I hope you understand one day, I said softly, more to myself than to her. I hope you understand that what I'm doing isn't cruelty. It's survival. It's self-respect. It's my life now. She didn't answer. Her cries filled the night, echoing in the empty park. I turned and walked away, each step heavier and lighter at the same time. Heavier because of the weight of goodbye, lighter because I was no longer carrying her betrayal inside me. For the first time, I didn't feel broken. I felt alive. I felt free. And as I disappeared into the night, I realized something I'd never allowed myself to think before. This time, I was in control. I was finally choosing me. "Ethan, can I see you in my office for a minute?" Mr. Harris's voice sounded unusually warm that morning. I paused mid-step, heart skipping. "Sure, sir," I said, trying to sound calm. "Sit down," he gestured. "I've been watching your progress. Your dedication, your leadership on the Daniels project, it hasn't gone unnoticed." "Thank you, sir," I said, swallowing hard. My chest was tight, but I didn't let it show. "I'm promoting you to project lead," he said, handing me a folder. "You've earned it." I blinked, disbelief mixing with relief. I don't know what to say. "Thank you. You've worked hard, Ethan. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise," he said, giving me a small nod. I stepped out of his office, holding the folder like it was a trophy. My legs felt like jelly. I didn't even notice Mia waiting near the elevator. "Wait, Ethan. Congratulations," she exclaimed, eyes sparkling. "Thanks, Mia," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "It feels unreal. I knew you could do it. I mean, look at you, facing everything, working like crazy, and now, project lead," she said, bouncing slightly on her heels. I just focused on work, really. Trying to move on," I admitted. Mia tilted her head, studying me. "Move on, huh?" From her. She didn't sound judgmental, just curious. I nodded. Yeah, it was hard, but I realized holding on to anger and regret only hurt me. Now I can actually live. She smiled softly, then nudged me lightly. "And maybe someone else can be part of that life." I laughed quietly, feeling warmth creep into my chest. "Maybe. I don't know yet, but it feels like I can actually start thinking about it now." "I'm glad, Ethan. You deserve that," she said, her eyes meeting mine in a way that made my stomach twist pleasantly. We walked together to the break room, talking about nothing in particular, projects, deadlines, silly office gossip. Her laughter was effortless, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel that shadow of my past hovering over me. "I'm really happy for you," Mia said after a pause, her voice soft. "I mean it, and I like spending time with you. Not because I pity you, but because I genuinely enjoy it." I felt my heart warm. "I like spending time with you too, Mia. More than I realized." Later, I sat at my desk, staring at my computer screen, but not really seeing it. I thought about how far I'd come. From being dumped, humiliated, and abandoned, to working late nights, rebuilding myself, finding someone like Mia, and now, leading a project. Pain had been my teacher. Betrayal had been my guide. And now, I felt stronger. I felt ready to open my heart again, not to replace anyone, not to go back, but to grow. I leaned back in my chair and exhaled deeply. For the first time in years, I smiled freely, feeling hopeful. Life hadn't gone as I planned, but maybe that was exactly what I needed. I was scrolling through my phone during lunch when I saw a post that made my stomach twist. Lily had moved back to her hometown. No pictures, no updates, just a small note about starting over. I called Jake immediately. "Jake, did you see this?" "Yeah," he said, leaning back in his chair. "Looks like life finally caught up with her." "Caught up," I repeated, frowning. "You mean she's broke?" "Broke, friendless, and probably humiliated," he said casually. "Karma's a slow but fair teacher." I didn't laugh. I couldn't. Not because I wanted to celebrate, but because it didn't feel satisfying. I guess I should feel something, right? "You should feel free, not happy," Jake said wisely. "You've been carrying that weight too long. Finally, it's off." I swallowed, thinking about every night I'd lain awake replaying her words. Every tear, every sleepless hour. And now, none of it mattered. Not really. Later that week, I overheard someone talking about Ryan. Apparently, the courts froze all his assets, and he was facing lawsuits for fraud. I remember the arrogance in his eyes, the way he blamed me for turning Lily against him. I shook my head. I didn't do anything. I muttered to myself. "No, you didn't," Mia said from behind me. "It wasn't your fault. They created their own mess." "I know," I said, staring out the window. "But it's strange watching them fall. I feel nothing. Not glee, not anger. That's because you're stronger than them now. Mia said softly. You don't need revenge. You've grown past it. I nodded, feeling the truth in her words. I spent so long wanting them to pay, and now I realize I didn't need them to. I needed me to rise. Mia smiled, squeezing my hand. Exactly. Strength, growth, freedom, that's your victory. I closed my eyes, letting it sink in. All the betrayal, humiliation, heartbreak, they hadn't destroyed me. They had forged me into someone I could respect, someone capable of loving without fear, someone who could open his heart again. I'm free, I whispered, more to myself than anyone else. Good, Mia said. You deserve this. You've earned it. For the first time, I looked at my life and didn't feel broken. I felt complete, not because they had fallen, but because I had risen. I didn't need to gloat, didn't need to confront them, didn't need to prove anything. The quiet satisfaction of living my life fully was enough. Months of pain had taught me a lesson no revenge ever could. Strength wasn't about breaking them. Growth wasn't about proving them wrong. Freedom wasn't about seeing them suffer. It was about me. And in that silence, that quiet, calm clarity, I finally understood. I had won. Fully, silently, without lifting a finger in anger, without a single bitter word. I smiled, letting the sunlight warm my face. Life had turned, and I had turned with it, stronger, wiser, alive. I can't believe we finally did it, Mia said, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear as we sat across from each other at the little Italian cafe. Did what? I asked, smiling, though my chest still felt tight with anticipation. This date, she said, grinning. Our first one. You actually agreed without overthinking it. I'm trying, I admitted, feeling a warmth spread through me. I guess I'm learning how to take chances. She laughed softly. You're a slow learner, Ethan, but I like it. It suits you. I raised an eyebrow, smiling despite myself. Slow, huh? I prefer careful. Careful, cautious, hesitant, same difference, she teased. I chuckled, the sound foreign in a way that made me feel alive. I've been afraid of this for a long time, I admitted, lowering my voice. Not afraid of you, but afraid of opening up again. Afraid of losing myself, or someone else, again. Mia reached across the table, lightly touching my hand. Ethan, I get that, and I respect it, but you don't have to be afraid anymore. You've already fought through so much. You're stronger than you think. Her words sank in. I remember the nights I spent shattered, replaying Lily's betrayal, Ryan's arrogance, and the months it took to rebuild my life. And now, here I was, choosing someone new, not as a replacement, not as a way to heal, but because I genuinely wanted to. I think I'm ready, I said slowly, squeezing her hand gently. Ready to trust, ready to feel again, ready to live for me, not for my past. That's all I could ever hope for, she said softly, smiling at me with a kindness I hadn't known in years. We ordered our meals, laughing at small things, stories from work, clumsy attempts at cooking, silly childhood memories. I felt my chest lighten with every word, every smile. At one point, I leaned back, taking a deep breath. You know, I lost someone I loved once, I said quietly, but losing her taught me something important. I found myself, and that is worth more than anything. Mia nodded, her eyes gentle. You've earned this, Ethan. You've worked for this life, and you deserve it, every moment. I looked around the cafe, at the soft lighting, the quiet chatter, the simplicity of it all. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. Like I wasn't carrying a mountain of heartbreak on my shoulders anymore. I guess my journey isn't about revenge, I said, glancing at her. It's about becoming the man I never believed I could be. Strong, honest, alive. And you're that man, Mia said. Right here, right now. I smiled, squeezing her hand again, feeling a calm I hadn't known in years. The past had shaped me, yes, but it didn't define me. I was building a life I wanted with someone I cared about, and I finally felt free. For the first time, I wasn't just surviving. I was living, and it was beautiful.